I knew from having read a lot of sociology of education texts that argued that education inequalities and wider inequalities in society are actually produced by schools. They're not just reflected within the education system. They're produced via everyday practices of teaching and learning, such as ability setting and the content of the curriculum and behaviour management practices. And the children know from a very young age where they're at and where they're being positioned in the classroom, even though it's not spoken explicitly. My key questions were, if that's the case, what can I do as a class teacher to challenge some of those ways in which inequalities are produced? What kind of pedagogic interventions could I develop? So what I did was I got a job in a school. It was a school I hadn't been working at previously. It was an ethnographic study, so I was making notes and recording what was going on, but at the same time I was in the role of class teacher on those days that I was there. One of the things I explored was actually what happens if you try to change aspects of the curriculum. So I tried to alter bits of curriculum that I was teaching in terms of thinking about what are the dominant narratives that are being conveyed here. But at the same time, I was trying to meet the curriculum objectives that I was supposed to meet. I began to have conversations with the children to try and open up what does it mean to say no to something or to say no to somebody when they're asking you to do something. And I framed it within a school context. And actually what I found was that it was very difficult to stray from those very dominant narratives. There were instances where I facilitated discussions that might not have otherwise happened. There are instances where children remained in the classroom where otherwise they would have been sent out of the classroom. The ways in which the particular expectations on teachers work and the ways in which teachers are surveyed mean that there's actually very little space to think around or outside those. So I think teachers have a responsibility to critically engage with the ways in which inequalities are produced in schools. Whilst it's really challenging, that's also what is sustaining as a teacher, to think that you can find ways to challenge some of the problems within the education system in however small a way from within your classroom.